What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the channel. Today I have a matchup for you guys between a green Han deck and a green Krennic deck. I'm going to start bringing you guys weekly matchups to kind of show off the game, give some commentary, give my thoughts of the match and the matchup in general with leader versus leader. But with that being said, obviously we have the green Han deck here. Han having the ability to cheat out resources to get Han onto the board early, even his 3-cost units out on turn 1 and stuff like that. Cheating out resources and cheating out bigger units might be difficult to do against a control deck that ends up just, taking out those units using the control cards like Vanquish, Power of the Dark Side, and, things like that, Takedown. So the Han player has to be a little bit smarter, probably go ahead and get more smaller units out there, flood the board a little bit, and kind of go that route. But obviously the Krennic player just trying to get to that turn where he can Super Laser Blast a full field and try to flip the script, getting out the Avenger, Devastator, and stuff like that, his big units, and using Krennic's ability to have his damage units do more damage as the game, progresses and stuff like that. But, this is going to be a good one, and I hope you guys enjoy. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Okay, we're here. Krennic versus Han Solo, both green. Obviously, the Krennic player playing with a 25 HP base, having lower HP than his opponent is interesting, but he does have the ability to heal and stuff like that. We see the regional governor coming out, and he's calling out U-Wing reinforcement here, just trying to make sure that, your opponent doesn't get to go ahead and play out, the big U-Wing reinforcement. Although that is a late game card, getting the regional governor out here, it's very unlikely that it lives that long, but we'll see how it goes. You see the C-3PO come out here, he calls 3, he gets the waylay right to his hand, and they go ahead and they reset here. So C-3PO having the ability to look at the top card of your deck, you have to call out a number. If that card is the number that you call as far as cost, it goes to your hand. So it's a good way to get draw power in Han Solo, allowing you to make sure that you have cards in hand that will also allow you to go ahead and put cards down as resources and not really lose card advantage in any way. So C-3PO, good card in Han Solo. You see the Power of the Dark Side coming in and wrecking C-3PO's life. Poor little robot didn't have a chance, but there he goes. That's what Control wants to do. And Regional Governor lives to see another day. So now you see Ezra. Ezra's a great card, especially in Han Solo. Now you go ahead and you see the Regional Governor hitting that base for 1, big old 1. Han Solo now takes the initiative, and he's going to be able to use Ezra to cycle, look at the top card of his deck. You see also the Mace Windu go into hand. Obviously with U-Wing reinforcements, the camera is getting absolutely wrecked here, but you see the U-Wing reinforcement can play Mace Windu from hand, from deck at the normal 7 cost, so that's why it's in the deck, but it does go down as a resource, so it's kind of sad there. But here we go. We see the Ezra on board, and the main thing here is that, we're going to have to see Ezra has the ability to look at the top card of the deck, put it down as, you can discard it, leave it on top, or you can, play it if you have the resources, which is really nice, which is what we're going to see right here. Ezra goes ahead and shoots, and he does play the Bright Hope, which is really good. He chooses not to do the ability. It is a May. You see Ezra get absolutely blasted by Takedown, but he does have a Bright Hope now, so that's cool. And he just keeps the initiative, and he's going to go ahead and swing 1. And, this game is going about the way you expected Han Solo against Control will be. Again, you're not going to see too much, resources into bigger units when there's not a lot of units on board, because you can see things like Power of the Dark Side, Takedown, and stuff like that to really control and slow down Han Solo. So you're going to see a little bit more, I'm pretty sure Han's going to want to try to grow the board a little bit before starting to play his big things. You see the 2 damage coming in from the Bright Hope, and Krennic comes out here. Now this is possibly a problem for the Han player, only in the fact that if the longer that Krennic stays on board, the more health he will restore with Restore 2. So he has to try to get rid of that as fast as possible if he can. You see the Regional Governor still, shooting away. She's just kind of there hitting the base with a hammer. Good for her. And now here comes out the Han. He was able to cheat out a resource, get to 6 resources, and keep up with the Krennic player and getting out the leader on the same turn. You see him swing into the Han Solo. So now he has 4 on the Krennic. He does restore 2. So now they're both at 3. You see him take out Krennic there. He puts the resource down, so now he's at 7. And then you see the takedown. Obviously, that was going to be the play, which is why he swung the Krennic into the Han Solo. but just getting to that 7 is what he wanted to do, because now he has the Han Solo 4-7. Great card. It has shoot first built into it, so it has ambush and shoot first because he took out the regional governor. Didn't take any damage, though it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, that 1 damage to it. It's still a really good card, because now whenever, you know, the Krennic player does play a unit on the ground, he has to understand that it will probably go ahead and die, because 6 is a pretty good hefty chunk. And also, he does kind of want to get units onto the ground, because taking 6 into the base repeatedly could be a problem. Obviously, you have power of the dark side, but then, you know, he's going to choose Bright Hope. If he has Vanquish, then you go ahead and you lose, and then the Han Solo goes ahead and dies anyway, which is probably what's going to end up happening here. But yeah, there it is, the Vanquish. And so it's what the control player wants, right? Put down the units and then destroy them one by one. So here we go. We see the Spark Rebellion. He's got to make the choice here, right? He has some good options. The control player does, right? The Krennic player. He does get rid of the thing that's going to heal him, which is probably a good choice there. You don't want your opponent to be healing off a lot of damage that you're going to be able to do. So, Gideon Hask being able to power up the stuff. You have the Wing Leader making the Bright Hope shoot for 4 damage instead of 2, which is pretty good there. And he still has plenty of... Never mind. He just spent the 3. So he has the 1 resource. If he has, you know, R2, he could drop that, but he doesn't. And they pass and they keep on rolling. So we're getting into the dangerous territory, though, where the control player can potentially start flipping the game, right? So you see them splitting up the resources there. He's going to use Steadfast Battalion. It is a shiny card, so you can barely see what it is, but it's going to go ahead and swing into the Fleet Lieutenant, stopping the ability of the Han player to get some damage on the board. Also, the overwhelm damage does go into the base, so that is why he took 2 damage. He is going to go ahead and use Surprise Strike, making it so he does 5 damage with Bright Hope, just trying to get the damage as much as possible. He just goes ahead and takes initiative because there's nothing much he can do. You now see the Ezra, and this is where you might see kind of like a board if he does have a smaller unit. The Han player just kind of wants to get units onto the board as much as possible. Try to stop the damage coming in. Steadfast Battalion can go ahead and swing into Ezra to overwhelm damage, even if it is just 1. Because I don't think that the Krennic player is going to go ahead and use a Super Laser Blast when this little units are on the board, right? But now we continue on here. And you see another Vanquish coming in on the Ezra, allowing the Steadfast Battalion to get the full 5 into the base, potentially, right? So now you go ahead here and you see another Fleet Lieutenant, all these shiny cards, really wrecking the camera. But you see another 5 damage coming off with the Bright Hope. And again, having 25 HP here, the Krennic player has to start getting damage in on his opponent's base to keep up here, or start healing, which he hasn't really done much healing. Getting rid of the Juggernaut was actually a really good play because it stops the healing there, and he was only able to go ahead and heal 2 off of Krennic, so he really hasn't done much when it comes to that in terms of healing off the HP. The Steadfast Battalion does do 6 damage now because he has the 1 damage because of Krennic. It's one of the good things about Krennic. He does make his damage units stronger. And you see the Sentinel on board with the Cell Block Guard, so the Fleet Lieutenant won't be able to swing freely into base at the moment. We see the Admiral Akbar come out. He will do the remaining 2 damage to the Steadfast Battalion and take it out. There might be an Avenger coming in, or you might see a Super Laser Blast. It looks like a, I don't know, Reinforcement Walker. So the Reinforcement Walker, now you're going to see some of the healing. He does elect to put the Super Laser Tech into the trash, so he can go ahead and heal 3. The Fleet Lieutenant going ahead and swinging into the Sentinel, dealing 2 more damage in with the Bright Hope. And then you see Rogue Operatives coming in waves, right? Rogue Operative is so good because it does have Saboteur and it has Raid 2. So for 3, you're swinging for 4 on each one, and you don't have to worry about Sentinels coming in. So he has to use his Reinforcement Walker to swing into one of those for sure, right? He cannot just swing into base here because he has to deal with the Rogue Operatives. So you're going to be able to see some damage coming in from the Han side right here because he was able to drop down 2 rogue operatives. If he has Super Laser Blast, now is the time to drop it. Even though he would end up losing his Reinforcement Walker, I think he's trying to determine whether or not to swing in with it, get Restore 3, and then potentially dropping down the Super Laser Blast, which might be the play, but he has to take out one of these rogue operatives. Yep. So you see the rogue operative go down. I think that was a Juggernaut, so he has to really decide whether or not to keep it or let it hit the trash and restore. So he's going to go ahead and Restore 3. He does take 2 because of the rogue operative, but he's able to heal that 3, which is going to keep him alive. And now you see the U-wing reinforcements. If you can go ahead and get, there's a few things that can really make this quite interesting. So we'll see what we grab here. Ooh, yep, that's a good one, right? So he gets Millennium Falcon off of U-wing reinforcement. It comes in ready. It's such a good card. And then he still has 4 more resources to play with. You can get up to 3 units, right? So he gets an Echo-based Defender and a Greedo. So he does get the full 3 out there. And now he's just kind of flooding the board. The Krennic player probably wants to go ahead and draw that Super Laser Blast eventually, right? And there it is. And it stops that completely. Good on the Krennic player. He was able to go ahead and, a bunch of units came onto the board. And he was able to just, stop it from happening. And now this is in favor of the Krennic player because he can go ahead and drop, if he has them in hand, he can drop the big ship, right? But we'll see what happens here. We see 2 coming out. Regional Governor. Calling out U-wing reinforcements again. You see the Mon Mothma. He's now able to look for a rebel to throw it into his hand. As you see there's some pretty good amount of rebels. And he ends up taking home 1. Now, this is a good card. It gives all of his units Restore 1. It has Restore 2. And you can go ahead and play something from your heroic unit from your discard pile for a cheaper cost. So that's pretty good. You see the Steadfast Battalion coming out. And, Han Solo is going to cheat down a resource, allowing him to have the resources needed to play home 1, which is really good. He knows that he just gets to see the home 1, but he's just like, hey, I'm going to play the home 1. So now you're seeing both sides kind of, revamping, getting units onto the board. You have the Echo-based Defender, which he's probably going to go ahead and now use the Steadfast Battalion, but it keeps the full 5 off from his base, which is pretty good because he's able to play for 3 less from the discard pile and obviously essentially making Echo-based Defender for free. So you have R2-D2 going ahead and he's going to Restore 1 because of home 1, which is pretty good. And he can look at the top card of his deck and cycle it, but I don't think he does do it. But it'd be what it be. And now we're going to the regroup phase. Obviously, you're not going to see many resources put down here. We're at that point in the game where it's not necessarily going to happen too often. Krennic going ahead and dropping down the Overwhelming Barrage, dealing 7 to the home 1 and taking it out. So that makes it so his units no longer have Restore. The best play here might just be to swing with the Echo-based Defender into the Regional Governor so he can go ahead and use his U-wing reinforcements. He knows that the Echo-based Defender is going to go ahead and die here. So using it to swing into the Regional Governor is a good play here to make it so he does have access to his U-wing reinforcements. He does, yeah, he does have Sentinel. So he does go R2-D2 into. Okay, so now he goes the Whatchahoozie into the Sentinel, right? They trade. Now you see the U-wing reinforcements, and we're gonna see, can he get something to take care of that? Actually, that Leia tapping down the guy could work, and another. He does have some good plays. He has some good plays here. U-wing reinforcement is such a good card. Being able to look at the top 10 cards of your deck and then play heroic units equaled up to 7 value, up to 3 units is so strong. Especially with Han and the ability to get the Millennium Falcon off of it. It comes in readied. It's so good. So now you go ahead and you see the Leia coming out, tapping down the Steadfast Battalion. He goes ahead and grabs the C-3PO. He calls out 3. He gets the Ezra into hand. Now he goes ahead and he swings with R2-D2 for 3 into base. He will get access to look at the top card of the deck. He sees another R2-D2 that then goes right down to the bottom of the deck. And he chooses not to go with the Millennium Falcon, which, you know, I think that he was just trying to make sure that he got an attack on that using Fleet Lieutenant, gives him a little bit more speed to potentially grab the initiative. And I think the Krennic player is now going back and forth on whether or not he has to grab initiative. Yeah, he does take the initiative. And he swings with Mon Mothma. And now you see Greedo come out. And now you just see 6 units on the board for the Han player. Steadfast Battalion not being able to use that +2/+2, but still a 5/5 swinging into a lot of small units. Has that overwhelm. But you see the entire Rebel army, like literally every unique and a Fleet Lieutenant Rebel card in the deck currently just staring down the Krennic. You see another overwhelming barrage. So now he can go ahead and deal 7 out again. So he's going to deal 1 to the Greedo, I'm pretty sure. He's going to go ahead and take out the Leia, the Fleet Lieutenant. So there's 3. And he's going to go ahead and just deal the extra to the R2-D2. He goes ahead and plays another Leia, tapping it down, not being able to use that +2/+2. So you see I Am Your Father coming out. And I think this is one of the things, like, you know, he could say no, let him draw the cards, but no player is going to let, especially now, late in the game, when your hand is this low, no one's going to let you draw those cards, right? So C-3PO gets absolutely blasted by Darth Vader, which is crazy. He then goes ahead and he deals 5 damage to the Steadfast Battalion. It does have +2/+2 for this phase, but when they regroup, it will die. Admiral Akbar coming in clutch. And then you see 5 units back on the board. It's pretty crazy how this one has turned out. No matter what the control player does here, it just seems like a ton of rebels just come in and just keep flooding the board, right? Eventually this game will end, but we'll see. You see Darth Vader coming out, and he's going to go ahead and ambush, but also getting the ability to play something for 3 or equaled up to 3. So you can play 3 1-cost villainy units, a 2 and a 1, or just a 3 when it comes to villainy. And he goes ahead and he drops down the Death Trooper to pop the Leia. Now he has to figure out what to ambush into to kind of go from here. He's probably going to go ahead and swing into the Ezra. And there it goes. And the Ezra goes down. And, you know, Mon Mothma and R2-D2 is still here from the Wave of 4 times, right? These rebels kicking strong. So we'll see how this one plays out here. He goes ahead and he drops down a wing leader. He's going to go ahead and juice up his buddy Admiral Akbar, right? Now getting, being up to a 3/6, provides some protection. He gives him the restore. And also, he's at 19, so he's going to take the initiative. You're going to see Admiral Akbar swing out. He's going to take 3. He's going to take 1 from R2-D2. And he's going to take 2 from Mon Mothma. And that's going to put him at 24. And he has to, you know, figure out what to do from here, right? You have 24 to 9 HP. They go to the regroup phase. He has to take out that space unit while also... He just has to drop down a super laser blast or something. Because honestly, there's no Sentinel on the board on the ground. And there's no... anything. So he goes ahead. He drops down his Avenger. He's going to blow up the wing leader. But it does not matter. And there it is. So that's the game. Obviously, that game, that's what Control wants to do. Han Solo also being able to get that many units consistently onto the board, even though just about every turn 2 or 3 units were taken out. It did not matter because a bunch of them did come back into play the following turn. So the longer the game went, the Han Solo player just had the answers in this matchup. It's a fun matchup. You just saw a bunch of rebels just getting plowed down by the Imperials, and then they just keep coming up in droves. A lot of fun to watch this one. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoying the content. I'm also, later this week, I'm going to be going over my prep for the store showdowns. Obviously, you guys know that May is going to start the store showdowns for Star Wars Unlimited. I'm going to go over my prep. I'm a Cassian player, just because I just like the way that the card works. I love the draw power of it, but I'm gonna go over the evolution of my deck for these store showdowns and kind of go over my mindset when prepping, going over the things that I had to kind of think about and the matchups I had to put into consideration when building my deck. So I figured that would be a good matchup, good deck building video for this Friday instead of a budget list, but we'll get back into the budget list the following week. I just want to go over because May starts these big store showdowns and we all want to race for new promos. So with that being said, let's go on and get out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.